So today we are in Cliffton Park Museum. I'm in the test space and this is where I did my residency.
So the idea behind the test space is an opportunity for artists to use the space to test out their kind of creative practice, have access to the collection in a particular theme that interests them and kind of just see where it goes over a 2-month period.
My idea was to use the moth and the life cycle of the moth to base it on the pandemic. So the cocoon period was the lockdown. We chose to use the moths instead of butterflies because people from the pandemic, they didn't emerge from these cocoons confident and bold and bright. They were a bit reserved and a bit nervous about emerging back into the community.
Angie told me when she first came it's about going towards the light, seeing the light as moths go towards the light. And people seeing the light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the pandemic. But I think when you see them all collected together, they are very impressive. Like now there's loads of families wondering about, all the kids have just made one. People who might not normally have come to the museum to do this sort of thing.
So the first starting point was creative consultation, and where I went into schools and did some workshops with young people, and we looked at cocoons and how it felt to be inside a cocoon. We looked at emerging from the cocoon and how moths might feel emerging from the cocoon, and words that linked to adjustment and stuff like that started coming up with the children from the primary schools. So some of the creative consultations, we're doing workshops with adults and how they felt about emerging back into society and back into some normality. So that were interesting to get both sides, the perspective of an adult in compared to the perspective of a child.
So I came to make a moth. It made you really reflect on what COVID's done to us and how we started off and where we've gone. So I learnt loads about myself through the different lockdowns. I've also got an autistic child, so our lockdowns weren't necessarily easy, but also they weren't very negative. So I went out and did lots of physical activity, learnt loads about myself, got time to spend with the kids when normally we're really, really busy. I learnt to appreciate little things, to see some of the different words around them and to see other people's words around them, I think is really important.
The works that's been created has been brilliant, right from like year 1s and year 2s making the cocoons through to year 5s and year 6s, and then through to adults making the large moths. The work's been outstanding.
Well, that's a nice pattern, well done.
I brought my kids today to make another one to be part of it. I think children were one of the most affected in COVID, and I don't think there's been nowhere near enough done with children to reflect on the experiences that they've been through, because I think they've been through quite a lot. Their whole lives have been upturned, and 2 years out of a child's life is a massive amount of time. I also think it's incredible that they get to have experiences like working with clay, to think about ways and to be able to just use that freedom to design as well. My daughter's really excited about rolling out clay. She's already smashing it down downstairs. She's like proper smashing it.
Workshops have been really well attended and everybody's been really enthusiastic about them and seem to have enjoyed participating.
It's been really good because Angie's come in, she's been working with the public. She's obviously got a lot of talent and a lot of skill, and she manages to get that across to the people that have helped join in with her sessions as well.
When people are actually getting hands-on and involved, it can bring in a different audience. I mean, because it's something new, it also means that they've had an experience, not just walked around and looked at something. They're learning by doing.
Oh, it's fantastic for the museum because you get to see how a lot of the art is actually created, and it's given a sense of pride to the people that take part.
So I've got a lot out of the residency. It's given me time to develop my practice. You don't very often get a chance to develop your own work, so it's been really, really beneficial.
Angie's an absolutely incredible artist, and she's also an amazing person. She's just dead down to earth. Talks very much from a personal point of view as well, so I think it's really important to have that self-reflection from the artist as well that you're working with, because it's like you're not being delivered to, you're delivering with.
She manages to get across all the skills involved in a nice, easy, gentle way. Her manner's fantastic. She works with the public really well.
I really love the exhibition, having the collection alongside kind of the artwork that not only Angie has created, but the communities that she's worked with and the different groups she's worked with. Seeing it all to come together as a final piece has been wonderful.